What up, everybody? It's the Build Different podcast. Myself and Sean. Uh, Going back off of a topic that we talked about last year, a topic that I always say is always something that I go back to and that I've always looked at every year. And one, because it's in Vegas, and two, because it's it's the future of what we're going to be using, products that we're going to be using, and that's CES. So, last year we had some boots on the ground with Raul. Raul was out there, and he actually had some video and everything. Still, personally, still haven't been out there. My goal was for us to be out there, so that I want that to be my first time when we're out talking about technology. But you know, things didn't fall into place the way we wanted them to, but definitely 2025, we could see ourselves out there, right, Sean?
Definitely. Um, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna follow up with the main thing is that there's always trends, there's always new products. There's even small companies, startups that are out there showing off their vision for the future of technology. So always loved it. Always fearful because I'm always like looking, as Sean knows, to see if somebody has something similar to our ideas. Even though we're patented, no quotes, we are patented, air quotes, we're patented. But you always want to look at the what's on the horizon and see, just make sure, like, is anybody thinking of what we're doing? And thank God I was thoroughly researching, watching videos. I've been nervous every year around this time, and nothing was there. But with that being said, like every different, there was so many different product categories that, I found something that was innovative. Or it was kind of my top pick. So, I guess we'll kind of go through that, and Sean's gonna kind of grill me, and I'll tell him a little bit about what I saw and what I liked.
Yeah, I mean, just starting off, CES in general, just talking about it a little bit. You mentioned future of technology. Obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, CES is a big technology conference. It takes place in Las Vegas, usually in the beginning of January. Um, what, um, what kind of like, I know you, obviously, Ricky, you're big into technology, but like, was there anything that specifically kind of made you interested in CES originally, like when you first found out about it?
Um,
Just the feeling of
it
like a
just it
new
was
technology coming out?
yeah, it was everything. I think even like back in the day, like as kids, we all like video games, but I think you would hear things from Sony, from Nintendo. The phone, more of the phone manufacturers used to be out there more. I think they've kind of pivoted now where like Samsung just had their Unpacked Day a couple of days ago, showing off their latest technology. Apple doesn't even show up at CES, so they do their own, Apple, type of displays and everything. I forget when Apple's is but even Apple and all these companies, I don't use Apple products, but I love watching, their presentations. And I know they just did the augmented reality headset, spatial computing headset, the Vision Pro. I just love watching all those type of things because it's like always the vision of the product. I love I love the way that they kind of showcase what it does now and then what it's going to become. I mean, even down to the packaging. Like I watched the Samsung Unpacked event. Obviously, I'm a Samsung user, so I kind of want to see the new tech they're putting into it, the new software, the new updates. But even the packaging, like immediately when they get done, I like seeing the unbox therapies, the Linus Tech, the Marcus MKBHD, Marcus Brown, his all these different cell related and technology related YouTubers and podcasters, see them do the packaging. So all of that stuff always used to intrigue me. But also too, I just like seeing the future of everything. Even cars, I'm a big car guy, so seeing like what the next evolution of cars was going to be. So that's what it is for me, is the future and what the new trends and what we're going to be using in the coming years, and to me it's even deeper. It's the mindset and the vision that each individual that is showcasing something, what they see and their spin on how they're going to change our everyday lives. So that was the
Yeah,
biggest
I
thing
mean,
for me.
innovation at the end of the day, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, let's get into it this year. You gave me a couple categories to bring up, but let's
Yeah.
start with home entertainment. I know there was a couple things in there that you saw.
Yeah, one of the coolest things, and you'd have to see it to understand it. And another facet of why I always like to show, because I like seeing the progression. Like, companies will show something like a prototype, and then you'll see the gradual continuation of it getting close to commercial status. So LG had this amazing display, and it was a bunch of TVs. They were mounted on a stand, like a crazy stand, but it had, they were broadcasting different images on it. And next thing you know, you'd see the images kind of disappear a little bit, but they were still there. So it was like a clear display. So you could see behind the display people walking around and doing things. So it's literally a screen that part of the screen kind of comes down, and then it's a clear display. So they had that. It's called that one was called the LG Signature OLED T, and it was just incredible because it provided like a different type of visual than what you're used to. Like imagine your TV display and then it being completely glass, and then you seeing your family or your kitchen or whatever behind it, but you could still see that image on the screen. It was dope, and then I think it kind of fits into what I was thinking like would be a cool future, like almost like the like how Star Wars, when they send a message and you see like almost the image, it's almost like it looks kind of like augmented reality, like
Like a
somebody was on the screen. They
hologram
had
kind of
a
thing.
woman singing, so that was really cool. I love that. The use case for it, would we use it in our homes? Probably not, but I think it would be really cool in restaurants, in stores. There's just displays, but yeah.
So where is like the circuits and everything? Like on the sides of the
Well,
TV?
that was another big thing is that they're now a new facet of technology. I think this has been around and on some of the current TVs on the market now. Is there's a separate box, so you can literally put a box in your closet that has all the wiring, and the TV
Um,
is completely wireless. So that's kind of how they achieve that, where you're not seeing the wires hanging on the back of it. So I thought
gotcha.
that was a really cool thing as well that I would like to have is like, because that's the big thing when you're hooking up your TV is hiding all the wires, and you gotta, do all type of techniques to get it to. And some TVs have like, um, you can kind of put your wires and cords into. But this eliminates that because you just literally have a closet and you just put it over there. So,
Yeah, I mean,
but
I
mhm,
could definitely see a use case for that in like a sports bar kind of thing where it's like
mhm.
you want to be able to see the TV from both sides, so you hang it up on the, up above, and the people from both ways can see it. Like that, to me, I definitely see a use case for that.
Yeah, they got to get the resolution up a little bit, which is like that's what I said. The gradual process of seeing. Next year they'll probably have one that's ready, market ready. That's how close it looks. Um, but yeah, that use case would be good in a sports bar application for sure.
The
Um,
next category, computing.
well,
Oh, sorry, you
I
had
had a
another one
couple
for.
more for
Okay,
television.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, me personally, I love big TVs. So there was a lot of big TVs. TCL had a 115-inch monitor
Oh,
that I'm just
geez.
like, imagine watching sports on that. You know what I mean? Like there was a guy that was walking through past one of the TVs. He was 6 foot guy. The TV was like on the stand was like taller than him. The people on the screen looked like giants. It was just like, man, I'd love to have something like that. I want to say there was a crazy TV too. I forget who did it. I don't think it's one of the major brands, but it was like 140-inch TV. I want to say, but it folded like like the fans, like the fans that you can kind of fold and unfold, like more decorative than anything else. But this TV literally folded like this, and then it would almost butterfly out like to
That's
140 inches.
that's
It's
crazy.
crazy. And that's what CES mainly is. A lot of maybe these things never come to market, but it just shows what's possible, like and some out there stuff as well. But yeah, TCL and their big screens. Samsung always has their huge screens. Samsung had the art wall, where it's like during the day it looks like an art frame, and then it has the images pop up when you put the TV on or whatever. But we're still on home decor, right?
Yeah, home entertainment, home decor,
Home
yeah.
entertainment. Samsung also had a really cool speaker called the Samsung Frame. So it's literally like a picture frame, but the home speakers, like you could put them all over the house in like a TV frame, and it broadcast the sound broadcast like a actual speaker. So I thought that was really cool as well. And yeah, those are the major things I think from the home entertainment part of things, and obviously speakers, lighting systems. But those are the ones that really caught my eye, especially that the clear LG OLED.
And then yeah, I guess sticking in the home, how about like home tech? I know you mentioned a few things that you had there.
Home tech, yeah, there was a lot of really cool. There was a lot of really cool home appliances. So one of the ones I saw that I would love to use, and I've seen this a while. I don't know if I'm trying to figure out when it would come to market, but it's basically a washing machine that also dries and folds your clothes. You know,
Oh wow.
like imagine that, and like there was one that was built like a actual drawer, so it's like your drawer, like your chest or drawer that you would put everything away in. Was actually it was the system was embedded into your drawer, so it literally put everything into your drawer in its proper places. So all your shirts, all your jeans, everything are steamed and pressed, and everything is just it's a seamless like one stop shop for cleaning your clothes, pressing them, and putting them away. Like how great would that be? You know what I mean? Can you imagine?
Yeah, that sounds wild. It sounds like something that's gonna cost a lot of money someday if it ever does hit the market.
I mean, we all. I don't know about you. I hate folding clothes. I hate folding clothes, and I hate like hanging clothes. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing.
Um,
Um, Also on the home refrigerators. One of the trends, and we were going to talk about trends in another part of the discussion, but a fridge that had generative AI in it. So to me, I didn't see AI. I just saw a camera in the fridge. I forget what company did it, but literally it would like look at your what you had in your fridge. It would give you recipes and stuff like that. The AI part, I could see that, but also too, they were talking about like, oh, the AI helps you reorder your groceries. No, that's the camera that's looking at it, and there's some type of algorithm there that they've had that for a while. So I don't know. They threw the AI label on that, but those type of refrigerators. One of the coolest products that I would personally use and I would love to have was a GE. It was a GE indoor smoker.
okay.
So I don't know. Are you big on smoked meats, briskets,
Yeah, I
like
love good barbecue. I haven't
yeah.
used a smoker, but I know what they are.
I haven't either. I haven't either. I've been to people's house, and then I love you can change the flavor of the meat with the wood chips and everything. But imagine having that indoors that doesn't blow smoke all over your house and like set your fire alarms off and stuff like that, your smoke detectors off. That's what GE created. I believe it's like $1,000, but smoked meats. You can put the wood pellets in there, change the flavors. It's a decent size. Like I'm like, man, I would use that. I would like to have an outdoor smoker, like a big one, but for the time being, I could, I would like to use something like that, like having like smoking your own meats, and not having the mess and all that stuff inside the house.
So it's essentially like a smokeless smoker
Yeah,
because the
it's
smoke
smokeless, but
doesn't
it
like.
achieves allegedly, because obviously we would have to taste it to verify, but it achieves the same taste as if you use the outdoor smoker.
I mean, that makes
So
sense. I know, and this probably wasn't from CES, but my family has what's called a solo stove. It's like a fireplace that they have outside, and it kind of it's essentially a fire pit, but it doesn't produce smoke. Like it refilters the air through, like it goes through these holes and kind of makes it so that, like, you can be around the fire and get the enjoyment of the fire without having to deal with the, smelling like smoke and, having smoke
carcinogen and
come
all
up
that
in
stuff.
your, yeah, come up in your face. So I'd be curious to see if it does kind of a similar technology where it's, you know, absorbing the smoke so that it's like when you open it, the smoke isn't going all over the house, like you said, and setting off fire alarms and things like that.
You'd have. I want to see. I'm interested to see what yours looks like because one part of me with the fire pits is like I like the flames and to be close to them and all that stuff. And it sounds like yours, you get the heat element of it and maybe some of the aesthetic, the look, but not the. You're not seeing the. You can't put your hand on it and like burn your hand, right?
Oh no, you can burn your hand. It's like there's a fire in there. It's just smokeless.
I'd have to see how that works. So that's
I'll
interesting.
send you a video after this is done. But
Okay. You guys use it often?
um, what?
You guys use it often?
Yeah, I mean, if we're outside, I don't know. Like in the winter, it's kind of cold to sit outside, but like in the fall or like spring when it's still a little chilly, but like nice enough that we can sit outside. It gets dark, you set it up and we use it for that. I use it when I go over to Sco's house, buddy. He has
Okay.
one as well. So yeah,
Nice.
it's pretty. It's becoming more common, but my dad is always like looking for things like that. So he found it a few years ago, and like he became obsessed with it. So
One of the other things as well that I thought was pretty cool, maybe not the most practical thing, but I thought was a cool kind of prototype and proof of concept. And this is the second year they've had it. It's actually for sale, but I don't know a lot of people that I've never seen anybody talking about they bought it or reviewing it or anything, but it's a smart home assistant called Bali. So
okay,
that through the AI term out there again with this thing. Last year was the same thing, but they didn't say, "Oh, an AI robot" type of thing. Now, obviously, with AI, they're like, "Oh, yeah, it's an AI robot." But it's a cool concept because what it is, it interacts with all your smart home appliances. So like it will literally, you can talk to it and tell it, turn on the smart lights or turn the TV down, whatever. It just integrates with everything. One of the cool things as well, like you could be at work and be like, find the dog. I want to see our dog or whatever, and it could roll over to the dog and show you the dog or whatever. When you're not home, you can ask it to go around and do whatever. But it was cool because they added a projector feature in it too. So it's like I said, it's not probably the most practical thing, but I thought it was cool. But it has a projector, so they had a demonstration where a guy was working out, and literally the it would project the workout on the wall, and the guy would just follow along steps. And then it was like came to one where the guy was like laying down doing like something on his back, like a squats, like not squats, but abs or something like that. And then the display went onto the ceiling. So as he's doing, the workout, it's up there, but it literally follows you around. It has like a little, they made it cute. It has little eyes and all that stuff. But I thought that was cool. Having a smart assistant around the house that's coming obviously in this app, in this particular form factor and stuff. I don't know, but it's something that they'll probably build upon. It was Samsung called Bali, too close to Wally. Remember the robot from Pixar.
yeah, I mean, I've always loved the idea of like a smart home where things are, all the technology is interconnected, and like I had a little bit of that with like back in college. I lived in a house where like the locks were smart locks,
Hmm.
for the house, and the thermostat could be controlled by your phone, things like that.
Oh yeah,
So, that's been around for a while. That's nothing new, but just the idea that you could know everything that's going on in your house and check on things just via your
hmm
phone and not have to, I mean, maybe that's the laziness of me, but like not
for
having
sure.
to go up and actually look at a thermostat and just being able to look on my phone. I think that's
Well,
cool.
no, I agree. It's just more convenient. Like the only like my house, I have a couple of smart things in my house, but I would like to outfit the whole house because yeah, you can just control it from your phone. Like for instance, sprinkler system, like not having to go out into the garage and mess. You can just go on your phone and stuff like that. It's just convenience. First world problems. You know what I mean? But
For sure.
it's also too. It just feels futuristic, and that's the way I believe our houses and everything should start feeling like we're progressing in some manner. You know what I mean? Like I've always dug it.
And yeah, I mean, uh, switching over to a new topic. Unless you had anything else for that topic.
I think that was it for the home. Yeah, yeah,
And I'm doing this topic now because I know that you could talk about cars forever, but automotive
yeah.
advances.
Automotive. I mean, there was a really cool Mercedes. It was a electric vehicle, but what's starting to happen now with vehicles is like personalizing your vehicle, like the look of it. So last year, and we talked about it, me and Raul, but there was a one where you could. I didn't see it this year, but you could control the change the color of your car. So it's like you know how e-ink kind of works, and it's kind of you would do the same with your vehicle. That was I think Volkswagen last year. Volkswagen ID I think is what it was called. Didn't see that this year, but what I did see a lot of in this Mercedes instance was the front grille had a design, and it was like basically a screen, and so you could change the design of your car. So, and then I saw one where you could actually have messages on the front of your car as well, by like where the headlights are. So I'm like, it's cool, it's unique. What is it necessary? Not really, but it's I I like to see people trying new things, doing different things, like just like we were talking last year on the same podcast topic the same CS podcast last year was why do we all have to have black and white refrigerators? You know what I mean? Or silver, stainless steel refrigerators? Like, why can't you? Same thing with your vehicle. Why can't you, have a grill that changes or looks different or a lighting system that you can? That I thought was really cool. That and I think from what they were saying that prototype was the concept was pretty cool. And I think Mercedes is one of the better car makers that they they show you a crazy prototype and you start seeing them implementing it little by little into the commercial vehicle. I think they do that probably better than a lot of companies. But there was a really cool, and people that don't like parallel parking or can't parallel park, I should say, would really love this. I don't know how you how you feel about parallel park. Parallel parking is either that. Well, nobody I don't think likes to do it because it's just extra work. But there's some people that definitely they won't park if they have to parallel park. You know what I mean? And some vehicles now actually do the parallel parking for you, which is cool. But this will let you kind of control it a little bit more.
Yeah, I in New Jersey, in order to pass your driving test, you need to parallel park. So
A
I
lot of
know
places,
how
yeah.
to do it, and I'm good. Yeah, I know in Florida they do not make you do that part of the test because otherwise, a lot of people in Florida probably wouldn't have licenses. So,
There's a lot of
um,
states that they don't, which is like stupid. It's like you're gonna have to parallel park at some point.
yeah, it's always that's always the toughest part of the test. Like literally, like anyone who I know who failed the driving test when they were 16 or 17, whenever they took it, like they failed because they couldn't parallel park. That was like the only reason that people ever failed. Maybe every once in a while they'd get someone for like not putting on their seatbelt or something like that, but
It's
parallel parking's
I
gotten a
never
lot of
I never
people.
learned how to do it. I just did it, to be honest. And it was out of necessity because I'm just like I was trying to get some. I think I think I was doing trying to watch a fight or something like that, and I'm like, the main like I'm gonna miss some of these fights. Let me make sure I get my ass in this parking space. It is a scary proposition because you have to you really have to get close to the vehicle that you're pulling in behind. And then you just like a lot of turning and monitoring and making sure. So I know that's a lot of cause of a lot of car damage with people. It's like not having the patience to do it, just not knowing how to do it. But this system in this car was really cool. It was called the Hyundai Mobis E Corner. So literally, like think of your wheels. You remember that? You've seen all the newest Batman movies, Christopher Nolan, right? Have you seen the
Wait, is
Dark
that the
Knight?
ones with is that the Dark Knight? Yes, I have seen those. Yeah.
Yeah, you remember he had that bike, and I was like, man, that bike was so dope. Where
Oh,
he
yes,
hit,
yes,
and then I
yes,
think he went around a corner, and the wheels locked, and the wheels would turn.
yes.
So that's what this system kind of does. It will lock the wheels, and the wheels will actually go this way. So they're all imagine your wheels all locking and being in position, and you moving like this instead of you actually having to turn it. The wheels glide in like this, and
That
they
sounds pretty cool.
roll the opposite way. So I thought that was like really cool. Like I could see that coming out down the road. You know what I mean? Because yeah, like why can't our wheels go that way? You know what I mean? Like we've been using the same type of rotation in the same direction, and some people have four-wheel drive, some people all-wheel drive, some there's different forms of it, but your wheels literally have rolled the same way for how long now, or moved in the same in that one direction for how long now. But I thought that was really cool, and then I know Honda had this saloon EV, and it looked like an old school Lamborghini. But the tech was really cool. The lights in the back, like the brake lights, looked like almost like a it's hard to explain. It looked like a 3D, like You ever seen like shoot, somebody's calling me. You ever seen when people use like a lighting system, like the little red light dotted lights, and it looks like you pull it out and it looks like it's 3D almost in a glass. I just have to show it to you after we get done. But that's how the brake lights looked. It like everything they did on there was like just futuristic looking, and allegedly it's 90% close to commercial spec, which shocked everybody because it looked like something out of something for 2070 or something. But
Nice.
it's their take on EV, and a lot of the vehicles now also have where the wheel would disappear, like under the dash, and if you want to drive, they pop back out. You know what I mean? And a lot of just EV where it's more focused on you engaging with the people in the vehicle, so all the seats would face the same way, or you could play board games while your car is driving you around and stuff like that. I thought that was really, really, really cool as well. And then Hyundai also had like a flying car that they presented. Um, the vertical takeoff vehicles, as they call them, with the blades on, almost like a drone.
What's funny is like I think that like a lot of people, especially like people my parents' age and stuff, have been saying like, oh, like you know, they've been saying we should have flying cars for years, like why don't we have
Yeah,
flying cars? And part of me agrees. The other part of me is like, I think we
what
could.
you gonna say?
I don't think it's like, I don't think the problem is the idea that we can't make it. I think the problem is that they don't want to make them because of, like the logistical nightmare of like the FAA or someone having to control, you know, basically having to make a whole new set of rules for flying, like things flying in the air that are potentially going to crash with planes and all these other, like it's a logistical nightmare of, you're now creating an entirely new, I guess that's the same thing as when they created planes, but
Mhm.
it's creating something that could also be like, there's just a lot of traffic on the ground, and the idea that, like you have to control that traffic in the air at that high of a volume is I think daunting. I think that's more of why we haven't done it than the fact that like, oh, no one can create a flying car. I think they could do it. I think they just don't.
I'll agree with you, and then I'll also not really disagree, but I'll add to what you said. Is I think we all want to fly in cars because I think that's what the movies, even the black and white movies back in the day, the '70s, you had the Jetsons, and the Jetsons were like had flying cars. We all wanted it. You had Back to the Future and all these movies from back in the day. So we thought by this time, you know, 2024, we would have flying cars. Um, and I'm surprised you didn't say this. Maybe this is where you were going, but we have a lot of dumbasses on the road itself. Um, there's so many idiots on the road. It's just me on the road. It's it's frustrating. It's frightening. Um, it enrages you. So imagine doing that in the air. You know what I mean? If you can't trust these idiots on the road, like on the ground, what are they gonna do in the air? But I think also the tech that people are looking for. It's the flying cars now with blades that are similar to a drone, almost like a helicopter, are different from what we envisioned the flying car actually being. You know what I mean? Like you thought there would be some propulsion system or something underneath the car that would lift it up, and that's where I think people are like, oh, we should really have flying cars, like more so like what we saw in the old movies and stuff like that. Also, too, what I think they're doing is um, they're this is the way they're kind of, I guess, reconciling with the FAA and stuff like that is right now it's for short trips. So say for instance you need to go to an airport or a helipad or something like that. It's like a use this electric vertical liftoff vehicle to take you to that short destination. That'll probably change later on when things start rolling out and they do the safety checks and all that. But also too, I think they're looking at it as something where it's autonomous. So maybe these, morons on the ground are by a flying car and they're not actually flying it into each other or into buildings or anything like that. They fly, which it's another set of problems, obviously autonomous, but you know, probably trust the system and the vehicles more than the people flying.
Yeah, I mean, well, I definitely would trust the system more than untrained flying cars, but I also would say I trust a pilot more than I trust autonomous, at least as of right now. Someone who went to flight school and did X amount of flying simulation hours, whatever, everything that they have to go through. Like that's the thing for me. It's like technically like you have plane like a plane is essentially a flying like it's not a flying car, but it's a flying vehicle that can get you from one place to the other. The difference is that, it doesn't look like a car. It has like you said, it has a different propulsion system. It's, you know, basically large, you know, blades swinging around that propulsors use versus the idea of like, a, some kind of, like jetpack powered thing kind of,
Yeah, because typically, I don't know if you've ever seen the old Harrier jets, and now I believe it's F-35 use that type of propulsion where the engines can flip up and down like this, so it literally can take off like that.
yeah,
That's what I would see as a more of a flying car. But then you could also roll with it. But those engines, I'm sure, are way too expensive, and then the heat that they produce, I'm sure, you can't do that on our streets. You'd be burning people and burning buildings and stuff like that.
yeah. Also probably wouldn't be the best for the environment. Well, I mean, neither are cars in general, so
Well, I don't think it would burn anything. I'm just thinking about the technology, but still, it's probably not the most, the wind and kicking it. It's just, it's be a
using a
mess.
lot of fuel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
But
that was those were I mean, the main vehicles. They didn't really have a lot of crazy vehicle tech this year. Oh, the other part of vehicle tech is AI. Like I believe Volkswagen had a chat GPT and integrated into its like navigation system. So it's kind of similar to using Siri or whatever, but it was literally it would recognize what you're talking. You like you, but I want a good Italian. I want a good steak with pasta, and it would dictate that and then turn it into like, oh, these restaurants have those type of things. Like, let me guide the person there.
gotcha. Makes sense. Um, and yeah, I mean, few categories left.
Yeah, we got
Computing's
37.
another one that you mentioned.
Which one? I'm sorry.
Uh,
Computing.
computing.
Oh, computing. Most of the computing that comes out now is like there's a lot focused on gaming.
Yep.
So Asus has like some of these crazy gaming PCs with these new graphics cards and CPUs, GPUs boosted to the hilt. But the one I found interesting is you've seen my laptop now, right? The Asus ZenBook. They had a new Asus ZenBook. So imagine, you know how my screen works, but imagine having a screen on top of a screen. So literally, it's kind of like my phone. Like the laptop is kind of like this. You know what I mean? So you have two screens on top of each other, and it's on a stand. And I thought that was really cool from a productivity standpoint. And you could actually fold the screen out and just use one screen, but literally it's like two screens. So you always say you love having two screen working from two screens. Like you'd have one up above, and then you'd have your regular screen in front of you. I thought that was the coolest laptop, the most innovative product I saw. Obviously, there's always the thinner, kind of smaller, faster laptops, but that for home computing, that was it. And there was a lot of monitors, high res monitors, um, 8K monitors, and the TV screens and the computer monitors. They had refresh rates 100, 144. I think I saw a 200 something, 220, 250 hertz refresh rate on a TV, which is ridiculous. So that was it really for home computing and AI
Yeah,
baked into everything, of course.
it's funny how like, and this is kind of going into some of the trends. How like for a while it was like the big thing was like, okay, things are too bulky. We got to make them smaller, 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 smaller. And then like they got to a point where they made it too small, and people are like, no, I want a bigger screen. So they started making them bigger, 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 and now it's like going in like the reverse order. It's kind of the same thing with laptops. Like laptops used to be these like bulky, massive things. Now they're making them smaller and thinner, and it's like lightweight as possible. And then you have people like you and I, you know, we want something that's like, oh no, we want like more screen space, so they're like, okay, we'll make it bigger again. And but it's just, I think at this point it's like not necessarily like they're not like reverting back to what they were doing before. They're making it bigger but more efficient. It's like,
Thinner, lighter, more efficient.
yeah, it's bigger, but it's like the reason it's bigger is because the screens are bigger. Like it has amenities essentially that you're getting for it being bigger, not just, oh, this is a bulky computer that you have to carry around with you everywhere.
Yeah, because the components were just bigger. You know what I mean? The processor were bigger. The fan was ridiculously huge, and they just optimize it over time where you can cool this thing down, make it thinner, make it smaller. Components aren't as big, you know. But
Exactly,
let's focus on
exactly.
making the screen bigger. Yeah.
And yeah, I think the last one that I wanted to get into was health and wearables. Last but not least, in our sector of the world.
Yeah, like I said, the trend there was putting AI on everything, but one true related product was is not necessarily wearable, but like a device, a walkie-talkie type device. And I showed that to you, and I was interested in seeing what it was because they did a good tease. The Rabbit R1, I think it was, where it's basically taking all the apps from your phone and turning it into put in an AI put in an AI spin on it, where essentially you don't have to go onto your phone to open the app, then put in the times that you want the ride. You just utilize this walkie-talkie to make your apps do the things, but with your voice. So you could schedule your hotel, bill, schedule your Uber without having to put in the info. You could make reservations, not having to do anything. It's just voice activated, and it had a little screen on it. I thought that was cool. It's not, I think it's something that's going to evolve into something else in the future. Very similar to kind of some of the things we said, um, some things that we talked about doing, innovative things, but the rings are the new thing now. You know what I mean? I think it's cool that um, because this fits right in our wheelhouse, but technology that people want to use to track their health, track their wellness, is getting smaller. You don't necessarily need a screen. There's no interface on it. So Evie was a ring. It's a female, woman-focused ring, tracking their sleep cycle, tracking their menstrual cycle, things like that, heart rate. Samsung just teased a ring as well in their Unpacked event. So things are going towards smart rings now. Then there was also a Neurologics or Magic Mirror, which people were a little shaky on how it worked because literally it's a mirror you sit up next to, and it's supposed to see your blood flow with cameras, provide your vital signs without you ever having to touch anything, and then it would diagnose based. I don't know what the magic behind it is or what algorithm or calculations they're doing, but it would literally diagnose what health conditions you might have, and like it would put it on a scale. So there's a lot of questions there, but I thought that was neat. There was a health B-mid smart mirror that was supposed to reduce stress and all this stuff, which the concept's cool. I don't really, uh, there's better ways of doing it, in my opinion. Um, AR, augmented reality glasses, were the big thing as well. So fitting along with Vision Pro, but I think even Ray-Ban had some augmented reality glasses that, and spatial computing type glasses. That was a big thing. But you know what? I didn't see anything like Extropian out there, so I was happy about that. Like because obviously, like I said, all these companies have their vision of the future and what they think is going to be the big thing, and still think we're not bragging, but just speaking confidently about what we're doing and what we've gotten feedback on. And I think we're doing it like years ahead of what these other companies are. And I think it's more what we're providing is more comprehensive and more, um, it's just more of a full stack health, performance, safety approach to everyday humans. You know what I mean? That makes it seamless, makes it easy compared to these other products. But I like, obviously the concept of what they're doing, but I just think I was happy to see what's out there because I'm like, yeah, we're on the right path. We're gonna kill the game with what we got.
Yeah, definitely agree. I think um, people are always trying to get better information on themselves, and it's something that we always harp on. And whether it's through rings, whether it's through what we're building, or any of the other technology out there, it's like you just got to be able to provide a full picture of what's going on with people, and the first person to do that is going to be doing really well.
Even when we do it, also too is like I think we have so much room to scale. Like a lot of these products, they kind of there's a limiting factor that doesn't allow them to scale. Where yeah, we can scale pretty massively, and we can continue to scale and scale. And then also too, our AI, our machine learning is not fluff, it's not marketing hyperbole or marketing speak. It's actually real AI and real machine learning, real, you know, we're not putting this AI paintbrush on just something just to say it's AI or, that we're using ML or, it really is. And that's what excited me as well. It's like everybody kind of had their putting this AI brush on, painting with this AI brush. And yeah, it's not really AI. That's been around. AI is it's machine learning and algorithms, and it's been around. It's just everybody's using this AI term, but we truly are going to do the things that people are trying to say they're doing very vaguely with this marketing hyperbole, like I said. But no, it was a great show. Like I said, next year we'll be out there. I feel it. We're everything that we're doing, we're close, but can't wait to show everybody what we have next year on at CES. And yeah, who knows? My goal is to win us. We win the CES Most Innovative Award, which I see a lot of companies get, and I'm like, damn, yeah, that's cool. That's a cool accomplishment. So, with that being said, did you have anything else? Any other thoughts?
No, nothing else from my end. It's all you.
Yeah, no. So thank you for joining us again, as usual. Second episode recording this year. Getting closer and closer, and hopefully you buy into the vision we have for the future. Like so many people did to with a lot of these companies at CES, and look out for us. And like I said, we're just doing things differently, and I think we're again not bragging, but just looking at the landscape, we're miles ahead of what was shown. So yeah, follow us, like, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys have a blessed weekend and a productive start to your week next week. Be good.
Thank, thank you.